Hey there. Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
I'm Kate.
I'm Bradley.
And this is the History Buffoon.
Sound like...
That's what I was trying to go for.
Well, that's what I said. That's why it sounded like that.
Well, then I did a good job.
How are you today, Kate?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I am well. We're sitting in the pod loft.
Just knocked my microphone.
Microphone.
Guess what episode this is?
This would be episode 100.
Boom.
Oh. So let's crack a beer to cheers to 100.
Crack a beer of our favorite beers.
Yeah, we're going with the classics today. Nothing fancy, nothing special, but delish nonetheless.
Modelo is fancy. What are you saying?
Banquet. It's only made with Rocky Mountain water. Can't get it anywhere else. Made anywhere else, I should say. You can get it everywhere.
Delicious.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy 100th episode.
Happy 100th episode.
We are not... Oh, gosh damn. I keep hitting the microphone.
Don't do that.
This does not count the origin of weird episodes. This is just our full-length episodes.
We count them a little separate. It's all the same podcast, but we count them kind of separately.
Yeah.
So this would be episode 141 if we counted them together.
Oh, dear.
But no, we kind of separate them to a degree because Origin of Weird is just, our little short form partner to our long form history. So,
well, before we get into too much, I want to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
All right.
Have you ever heard of the Bone Wars?
The Bone Wars. No, I have not. I don't think so.
It doesn't have death the way you think it does.
Okay.
It's about two men with gigantic egos.
Of course.
Who are hunting dinosaur fossils.
Oh, sure.
That
makes
kind of
sense.
Death.
Yeah. They're already dead.
Yep.
And it's like, I can find this bone better than you, faster than you, whatever the word. Insert correct word there.
Yeah.
Than you. Yeah, okay, so, already dead. Let's look for bones.
And we got egos to go with it.
Oh, naturally.
Yeah.
That's what history is all about, is overly sized fucking egos of people who think, I am better than the next person.
Right.
Typically. I mean, that's what a lot of wars are going on.
I feel like we need a shot.
Fuck, I wish we had one.
I know, damn.
If only we had that South Dakota whiskey you got. That was good.
I left at home.
Yeah, I enjoyed trying that. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Like you said, you left it at home. We are currently in the pod loft. Happy Independence Day.
Yep, it is also July 4th.
Yeah, we are recording this on the 4th of July, 250 years to America. Huzzah.
Yes, huzzah.
Here's to 250 more.
250 and our 100th. So just imagine.
I already am.
Spending weeks.
Oh, dear.
Digging through the blistering heat of the American West.
I'm out.
You're covered in dirt.
Yep.
Sweat running into your eyes.
With
that
dirt.
Happens to you already and on a daily basis.
Oh, my God, when I'm working.
Every shovelful of earth brings you closer to something that nobody has seen in millions of years. And then it happens. A bone emerges from the ground.
Yes.
Not just any bone, but part of a dinosaur, unlike anything ever discovered before. The kind of fossil that could make a career. It could fill museum halls.
Yeah.
And change what humanity knows about prehistoric life.
Right.
Most scientists would carefully excavate it, pack it into crates.
But this guy's like, get this fucker out of here.
Well,
right.
Instead, some men reached for the dynamite. Some crews intentionally damaged fossils, reburied sites, and in some cases used dynamite to destroy specimens that they couldn't recover simply to keep them out of their rivals' hands.
So is it Dino-Mite?
I just licked my microphone.
Gross. Now I have to sanitize that. Gross.
It's Dino-Mite.
Oh, that's pretty easy. That didn't even cross your mind, did it?
It really did not.
Oh, man.
So, it might sound completely insane, but it happened during one of the strangest rivalries in scientific history.
Is this in the 1800s?
It is.
Yeah.
It was a feud so bitter that it involved bribery, spying, public humiliation, sabotage, stolen discoveries, and pettiness.
Wow. This sounds epic.
And this is the Bone Wars.
Is this like 1830s?
Later than that.
Is it
It's
later
the
than
late
that?
1800s.
Oh, later 1800s.
And in fact, I meant to look up one question that I had for myself.
Yes.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Because for some reason, okay, I don't know exactly what you're going to talk about here. I had a feeling, especially with when dinosaur bones were discovered or whatever. I thought it was the 1830s. But I mean, it still could be true. It might just be, these people might be looking for it afterwards, but I didn't know it was the late 1800s.
So I want to bring in Mary Anning.
Of course, who we did an episode on.
Yes, I don't remember what episode it was.
Called Mary's Comet.
It was called Mary's Comet. I believe it was like within the first couple of episodes.
It was pretty early on in our...
Episode 11.
Yeah.
Episode 11. So Mary Anning was in England.
Correct.
And she found a lot of fossils.
Yes.
Ichthyosaurus.
Yes.
And that was in the mid 1800s.
Maybe that's why I'm kind of thinking of that.
It was between like 1823, 1830-ish.
Okay. Maybe that's what's going through my brain then. But this is obviously the States.
This is the States.
You know.
So, at first glance, like you think we're talking about dinosaurs. Yeah, dinosaurs plays a little role, but this is just entirely about two men.
Right.
They are two brilliant scientists with massive egos, and they became so obsessed with defeating each other that they nearly destroyed the science that they claim to love. So.
That's the beauty of people. They really know how to fuck shit up.
Fuck their own shit up.
Well, that too.
Yeah. So, the first gentleman was Edward Drinker Cope.
Drinker?
Yep.
Like, that boy's a drinker?
Yep. Edward Drinker Cope.
Do you think that's why his middle name was that?
I don't know.
That's an odd middle name.
It is.
Huh.
Cope was born in Philadelphia in 1840.
Okay.
And he was born into a wealthy Quaker family. And unlike many scientists of this era, he didn't spend his early years worrying about money.
Okay.
Or trying to secure a position at a university.
Yeah.
His family's wealth gave him freedom that he used to pursue an obsession with natural history.
All right.
He was a genuine prodigy. By the age of 18, he had already published scientific papers and was earning a reputation as one of the brightest young minds in American science.
Wow, I wish I could say I did that.
His brilliance did come with some baggage.
Oh, always does.
Cope was impulsive, competitive, and notoriously hot-tempered.
You don't say.
He moved quickly, thought quickly, and published discoveries at a pace that left his colleagues kind of stunned.
Now, did he publish them properly? Like, they were stunned, but like, did he do the right work and everything?
No.
So he just like, it looks good to me.
Yes,
Print it.
Exactly.
Wow, that seems
like he didn't review his first draft.
Oh, that seems not right.
He was the kind of person who always believed that he could find the answer first. So
he always rushed to get that answer first.
Yes.
Even if it was wrong.
Yes.
And it's not like, go to the internet and fact check me.
Correct.
Because, well, lo and behold, wait 100 and some years.
Right.
So, okay. Let's learn more before I say anything.
So the second man was Othniel.
Othniel?
Othniel. Nope. Othniel.
Oh, man.
Othniel.
Othniel? How do you spell that?
Othniel. Niel. Othniel.
Othniel?
Othniel Charles Marsh. So we got Marsh and we got Cope. Okay?
I feel like Othniel is like, oh man, I got an Othniel in my knee or something like weird,
I've got an Othniel.
Yeah.
Othni. Yeah. Anyway, Marsh's story was a little bit more different than Cope. He was born on a modest farm in rural New York and spent much of his early life far removed from the wealthy scientific circles that Cope took for granted.
All right. Excuse me.
If not for a stroke of luck, Marsh might have spent his entire life working the land. But luck came in the form of his uncle, George Peabody.
Peabody. That was a common name back then, wasn't it?
So Peabody was one of the wealthiest men in America.
Oh, okay.
And one of the most influential philanthropists of the 19th century. And his money changed everything for Marsh.
Oh.
Peabody paid for Marsh's education, funded his studies in Europe, and eventually established the Peabody Museum of Natural History at Yale, where Marsh became one of the country's leading paleontologists.
Is that still...
The museum is still there. I don't recall if it's named the same thing.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So why did this Peabody take such a liking to Marsh and give him money?
Family? I don't know.
Okay. That seems...
It wasn't part of my research. So, unlike Cope, Marsh never forgot what it felt like to have nothing.
Yeah.
Where Cope was impulsive, Marsh was cautious. Where Cope rushed to publish, Marsh preferred to keep his discovery secret until he was absolutely certain. And where Cope wore his emotions openly, Marsh kept his cards close to the vest.
So did he wear his emotions on his sleeve?
On his sleeve. No, Cope did, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
The two men approached science in completely different ways, and in hindsight, they almost seemed destined to become enemies, but they did start off as friends.
Oh, they did? So they actually knew each other from an earlier age?
Yes. So
how old were they when they met? Do you know?
We're fast forwarding to 1864.
Oh, it's a good year.
So around 24 years old, give or take.
Okay.
Both men found themselves studying in Berlin, and while the American Civil War raged back home, they spent their days exploring museums, discussing fossils, and building what appeared to be a genuine professional friendship.
Okay.
They respected each other so much that they even named newly discovered species after one another.
Really?
Cope honored Marsh by naming a fossil amphibian Anisopus marshi, while Marsh returned the compliment by naming a marine reptile Mosasaurus copanus.
So you're telling me basically all these names we got are bullshit because they just might have been named after somebody, not actually scientifically real?
Well, those two.
I know. I'm just joking. It's just funny because like a lot of things were named honestly that way because it's not like they would have known the name.
Yeah.
Like Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Someone gave it that name.
Yeah.
Obviously, no Stegosaurus was walking down the road one day and like, oh, there's a T-Rex over there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just weird how names come about for things that we have no fucking clue about.
Right.
And now that we've been calling it that for, well, whatever, 100 years, 150 years, whatever the fuck it's been. So, anyways.
Yeah. So naming new species after each other was not a casual gesture. Scientific names can survive for centuries.
Yeah.
Meaning, I moved. Meaning each man was effective ensuring that the other's name would be permanently attached to the history of life on Earth.
Right.
So for a brief moment, it looked as though American paleontology had gained two talented allies. But tensions were beginning to form.
So, what caused these tensions?
Oh, let me tell you.
Please do. That's why I asked.
Cope saw Marsh as overly cautious and calculating.
And he wanted him to be more just shoot from the hip kind of fucking guy. I mean, that seems stupid, though.
Marsh saw Cope as reckless and undisciplined. One came from old money. One came from a modest family farm. One trusted his instincts and the other trusted meticulous planning.
Right.
So neither man were particularly good at sharing the spotlight, and all they needed was a spark. And that spark arrived in 1868 at a fossil site in Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Good old Haddonfield.
So the friendship between Cope and Marsh may have survived for their differences if it weren't for 1868.
Oh.
Cope invited Marsh to visit one of the most important fossil sites in the country, the marl pits of Haddonfield, New Jersey.
What are marl pits?
Well, marl pits they actually dug in these marl pits for fertilizer. It's a type of fertilizer.
Oh.
So today, Haddonfield is famous for being the location where the first reasonably complete dinosaur skeleton was discovered in North America.
Okay.
It was essentially like a gold mine for paleontologists.
Sure.
Okay. And because of all the digging for this fertilizer, they regularly stumbled across all these discoveries, right?
Yeah.
So to Cope, this was an opportunity to show a colleague around one of his most productive hunting grounds. To Marsh, it was a business opportunity.
I wouldn't have guessed Marsh to be the business opportunity aspect. At least the connotation of it sounds not like it aligns with what he would do.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So while visiting the site, Marsh quietly approached the pit operators behind Cope's back and offered them money.
Oh, shit.
If they found any future fossils, they were to send them directly to Marsh at Yale instead of Cope in Philadelphia.
Interesting.
For Marsh, it was simply securing access to valuable specimens. For Cope, it was betrayal.
Yeah, it was backstabbing.
And that trust that existed before was suddenly gone.
You don't say.
Yeah.
All right.
So from that point forward, their relationship became increasingly hostile, and before long, Cope found himself facing an embarrassment that would haunt him for the rest of his career.
Oh, shit.
In 1868, Cope received the remains of a strange marine reptile unlike anything scientists have previously discovered.
Okay.
The animal would eventually become known as Allosaurus, and it is one of the most famous prehistoric creatures ever discovered at the time.
Okay.
The problem was that the skeleton wasn't neatly laid out in the ground waiting to be assembled. It arrived as a collection of disconnected bones, and Cope was eager to reconstruct the creature and publish his findings before anyone else could.
And you didn't put it back together right?
You didn't.
Imagine that. That was pretty much an easy one to pick.
Allosaurus possessed one feature that seemed almost unbelievable. His neck was absurdly long.
Right.
Modern animals simply don't look like that.
No.
The neck contained more vertebrae than anyone expected, creating a body plan that seemed completely backwards compared to most familiar creatures.
So did he put it together wrong because of that?
The neck, yeah. So think of a brontosaurus.
Yeah.
But instead of legs, it has fins.
Yeah.
And then the tail is shorter.
Right.
So, working quickly, Cope assembled the skeleton and proudly published his reconstruction. There was just one problem. He put the head on the wrong end.
He put it on the tail?
He put it on the tail.
Yeah.
Looking at the pile of bones, Cope assumed the enormous series of vertebrae represented a tail.
I mean, I can understand, like you had said, that this isn't anything like we've ever seen. So obviously, you know, besides a giraffe, what has a really long neck on the planet?
Right.
Not a lot of things, honestly. So I can see, you know, tails are going to typically be longer. Excuse me. So I can see why he might have done that. But, like, again, this is why he's an idiot for just rushing to, I got to be the first. Who else fucking has this right now? Take an extra 5 minutes, dude, and just think it through.
So as a result, he attached the skull where the tail should have been and presented the creature to the scientific community with complete confidence. Unfortunately for him, Marsh noticed the mistake almost immediately, and rather than quietly mentioning the error, Marsh made sure everyone knew about it.
Oh, boy.
The disagreement became so heated that respected paleontologist of the time, Joseph Leidy, was eventually brought in to settle the matter.
Okay.
Leedy served as like a neutral expert. When Cope and Marsh were arguing over the reconstruction, Leedy examined the skeleton and concluded that Marsh was correct. Cope had placed the skull on the tail rather than the neck. And what makes this a little bit more painful is that Leedy was one of the most respected scientists in America. He was actually a mentor to Cope.
Oh.
So Cope completely admired him.
So with him siding with Marsh being correct, even though Cope was just wrong, he took that more as a slight because you even fucked up my relationship with my mentor kind of mentality.
Yep, exactly. Okay. So the embarrassment for Cope was enormous,
I would say.
So realizing the magnitude of the mistake, Cope desperately tried to recall copies of the scientific publication that contained the incorrect reconstruction.
So like you say it contained the incorrect reconstruction. Was it a drawing then that they released? Because there was photography at this point.
There was photography, but I didn't look into what the publication said or anything.
Because I'm just curious as to how was it presented in this?
I'm assuming it was photos, but
you would think.
Yeah.
But all right.
So he hoped to remove the evidence before it spread throughout the scientific community, and of course, Marsh had other ideas.
So he kept spreading it?
Knowing exactly what Cope was attempting, Marsh made sure the mistake was widely known among the scientific community and referenced it for years afterwards. So if Cope wanted the mistake forgotten, Marsh was determined to make sure it lived forever.
Seems that way.
Years later, Marsh would openly boast about the incident, writing that Cope's wounded pride had never recovered.
Right.
Whether that was true or not, we don't know. But from that moment forward, the rivalry stopped being professional and it became personal.
And it became ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So following the Civil War, railroads pushed deeper into the American West.
Yep.
Survey crews blasted through mountains, carved routes across the plains, and exposed rock formations that had been hidden for millions of years.
Sure.
To every new railroad cut seemed to reveal another treasure trove of fossils.
Right.
To paleontologists, this was like a gold rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because by the time these discoveries began pouring out of the frontier, Cope and Marsh were no longer interested in simply finding fossils. They were interested in beating each other.
And basically sabotaging each other, more or less. Yeah.
Yes, they were willing to do pretty much anything to win. So it's important to remember that these expeditions weren't taking place in some peaceful scientific playground.
No.
It was the American frontier during a period of enormous conflict and expansion.
Right.
Railroads, military expeditions, settlers, prospectors, native nations, and government survey teams were all competing for control of the same territory.
Sure.
So scientists often traveled alongside soldiers. Some negotiated directly with native leaders for access to fossil-rich regions. Mm-hmm. Others relied on military forts for protection and supplies. And the search for dinosaurs was deeply intertwined with the larger story of the Western expansion. Even the way Cope and Marsh approached these expeditions reflected their personalities.
Right.
Marsh traveled west with substantial financial backing from Yale and the Peabody Museum.
Sure.
His expeditions were well supplied, carefully organized, and often included teams of students and assistants.
Okay.
On one journey, he even hired William F. Cody, Buffalo Bill, as a guide.
Did he really?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's weird.
Cope's expectations was far less polished. During one trip to Wyoming in 1872, he arrived expecting support from a government survey, only to discover the group had already departed with most of the available transportation and supplies. Rather than turning back, Cope improvised. He assembled whatever crew he could find, secured wagons where he could, and pushed forward west anyway.
Oh, boy.
By this point, neither man was simply collecting fossils. They were racing each other across an entire continent.
Yeah, no kidding.
So by the late 1870s, the rivalry has moved far beyond scientific disagreements. At this point, Cope and Marsh aren't trying to make discoveries anymore. They're just trying to beat each other to the discovery. So the moment that either man found something new, even if it was nothing more than a single tooth or a fragment of jawbone, the race began. Specimens were examined as quickly as possible. Brief descriptions were rushed into print, and new species names were announced before anyone had time to carefully verify the findings. The goal was not accuracy in this information, but priority.
It was a timely thing.
Whoever published first received the credit.
They didn't care about being correct.
No.
They just wanted to get it out first.
So as a result, both men began naming species at a staggering pace.
Oh, Jesus.
Fossils were described from incomplete remains. Animals were sometimes named multiple times because juvenile specimens were mistaken for an entirely different species. In other cases, fossils already described by one scientist received a brand new name from another. It was just scientific chaos.
So, did a lot of these naming issues and such get corrected over time with other, like, actual legitimate scientists?
Yes.
Okay. And I say legitimate scientists, not that they weren't, but clearly they abandoned being scientists.
Yeah.
Just for...
clout?
No. Just to fuck the other one.
Yeah.
Not even clout. Yeah, that probably came along with it if they published first. Compared, if Cope got something out before Marsh did or vice versa.
Yeah.
But they clearly abandoned all fucking hopes of being actual scientists, which is really sad because, especially during this time, a lot to be had. Just.
Oh, yeah. Smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Smorgasbord.
Yes. Or a smorgasbord.
Is it board or Borg?
I thought it was Borg, but you said board first.
Yeah, and then I said Borg.
I know.
Somebody correct us.
When I think of Borg, I think of the Next Generation Star Trek, because the Borg, we are Borg. That's what, anyways.
So dozens of duplicate and invalid names flooded the scientific literature, creating a mess that future paleontologists would spend decades trying to untangle.
Yeah.
The feud became so disruptive that editors of the American Naturalist, one of the country's leading scientific journals, eventually grew tired of the constant stream of overlapping claims and personal attacks. Editors grew increasingly frustrated with the disputes, the criticisms, and the competing claims that accompany the rivalry.
Well, and maybe you get to this, maybe you don't, but at what point do these people be like, hey, if anything comes across your desk from Cope or Marsh, don't do anything with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because clearly they're not doing the work.
Yeah.
They're just skating by to try and beat one another, whether they knew that was the case or not. But it's like, hey, I got this new thing from Marsh. Put it in the round receptacle over there.
Right. Well, I bring up the journal again here in a moment.
Right.
For most scientists, that would have been the end of the argument, but for Edward Cope, it was simply an obstacle. So in 1877, Cope acquired a controlling interest in the American Naturalist magazine or journal.
Oh boy.
Giving him significant influence over one of the country's leading scientific journals. It was the 19th century equivalent of purchasing your own television network because you didn't like the coverage.
How... I know he came from older money, but is that how he got the interest in it? Okay.
So with his new acquisition, Cope gained a platform where he could publish his discoveries and criticize his rivals without worrying about editorial interference.
Oh, dear.
And, of course, the rivalry was about to become even more absurd.
Right.
In 1877 marked the point where the rivalry entered its most intense phase. That year, several discoveries in Colorado and Wyoming revealed something extraordinary. Scientists had been finding prehistoric mammals for years, but these sites contained something a little bit more spectacular. entire graveyards filled with gigantic Jurassic animals, unlike anything previously discovered in North America.
Right.
Ironically, neither Cope nor Marsh made the initial discoveries.
Of course.
One of the most important finds came from Arthur Lakes, a school teacher and amateur geologist near Morrison, Colorado.
I know of Morrison, yeah.
And while exploring local rock formation, Lakes noticed enormous fossil bones protruding from the hillside.
Right.
Unsure exactly what he had found, he collected specimens and contacted professional paleontologists for help. Unfortunately, he reached out to both Cope and Marsh.
So how did he reach out to them? Like, not anyone else? I mean, you can't tell me those were the only two.
I'm sure he reached out to a couple, but it just happened to he also
be those two.
Yeah, because they still have a name for themselves.
Well, at this point, because even though they're trying their darndest to tarnish their own fucking names, but all right.
So the moment each man realized the other had been informed about the same fossil site, panic set in. Agents were dispatched across the West. Exclusive agreements were negotiated, digging rights were secured, and before long, both sides were employing tactics that looked remarkably similar to industrial espionage.
Oh boy.
Marsh, in particular, became obsessed with secrecy. He occasionally used coded telegrams and other secrecy measures to conceal discoveries from rivals.
Do you have any examples?
No. No.
Okay, never mind. I'll just grab a beer.
Rival scientists were rarely mentioned by name. Fossil sites received code words. Shipping routes were disguised. Information was compartmentalized so thoroughly that some workers barely even understood the larger operation that they were participating in.
Yeah, they're basically in the dark about it. So.
Both camps regularly attempted to steal information from the other.
Good Lord.
Workers were bribed. Crews would switch sides. Digging locations would be leaked. Both sides paid close attention to fossil shipments and transportation routes.
Okay.
Some reports even describe rival crews engaging in fistfights and throwing rocks at one another while competing access for fossil-rich hillsides.
So do you find it odd that even their feud trickled down to the people that worked for him?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, holy fuck, what kind of pull do you have on the people that work? Hey, man, I work for Marsh. I work for Cope. Fuck you. It's like, if my company had a feud with a rival vending machine company, I'd be like, good for you. I'm going to go do my shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, they're also being bribed.
Well, which doesn't help because obviously Marsh is bribing Cope's people and Cope is doing the same to Marsh's people. And they're flipping sides because, ooh, I got an extra nickel today from Marsh. I'm going to go work for this guy.
Right.
Or whatever fucking bullshit it was. But yeah, I mean, obviously they're being coerced into nefarious things. We'll just say that.
Yeah. So because eventually winning became more important than science itself, if Marsh's crew uncovered fossils that they couldn't transport, they were sometimes ordered to destroy them.
Isn't that wild? Just think of how many fucking fossils were lost because of that.
Yep.
Like, just to not let someone else get them. You piece of shit. And just like, hey, man, we don't have enough room on our cart. Blow it up.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So in some cases, fossils that could not be recovered were intentionally damaged, buried, or left vulnerable to destruction rather than risk falling into the rival's hands.
So can you describe what being left vulnerable to destruction means? No?
I mean, left uncovered and I don't know.
We just got sun bleached? I mean...
Oh, yeah. Totally sun bleached.
Got sunburned? Didn't put on enough sunscreen?
Later accounts also describe the use of explosives at certain sites.
Dino-Mite.
Excavation trenches were deliberately refilled. And when a quarry had been worked to exhaustion, explosives were occasionally used to collapse sections of the site,
sure,
burying any remaining fossils beneath tons of rock and rubble.
But see, like, Why would you do that? Because then you know where those are. You would have to go dig them back up if they even survived the blast, for that matter.
Do you remember the discovery of Tutankhamun's?
Mm-hmm. Where they had to rebury it?
Yeah, they would rebury it every day or something.
Wasn't it every season?
Oh, every season.
I think it was. Either way.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I get that. But they also weren't dynamiting the whole fucking thing and blowing shit up. Couldn't you have just, I don't know, hey, I'll pay you this amount of money, get some bullets, and sit here for the next 6 months or some shit?
Or they could take what they could and they can leave the leftovers, for the other guy. Like, you can have my leftovers. That's fine.
And you could have literally used that as like a fucker.
Yeah.
Couldn't even find his own shit. He had to take my leftovers.
Exactly.
What a piece of shit. Am I right? I don't know. It seems weird to do it that way, but yeah, like I remember that where they had to rebury the Tutankhamun site and everything, but I almost understand that.
Yeah.
This I don't.
No.
I don't know. Because it was the same people who went back every time for Tutankhamun.
Yeah,
so,
it was.
Anyways, yeah.
So Cope and Marsh reflected the era in which they lived. It was the Gilded Age, the age of monopolies. Industrial titans fought to dominate railroads, steel, banking, and oil.
So did they not pass go?
So for men like Rockefeller and Carnegie, success meant controlling resources. For Cope and Marsh, the resource happened to be knowledge. Every fossil represented a prestige, every discovery represented influence, and every scientific victory represented status.
Right.
And every success achieved by the other man felt like a personal defeat.
What a way to live life.
Yeah.
You couldn't just be like, and you don't even have to be happy for the other person. But just focus on your own shit, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So by the 1880s, the battlefield began to shift a little bit.
Oh.
The fighting was no longer taking place solely in dusty quarries and remote railroad towns. It was moving to Washington, D.C.
Oh, good place to go.
Marsh was about to gain an advantage that Cope could not easily overcome. While Cope continued spreading enormous sums of his own money on expeditions, fossil purchases, and publications, Marsh focused on building political power.
Oh.
He formed a close relationship with John Wesley Powell, the famous explorer of the Grand Canyon and one of the most influential figures in American science. When Powell rose to leadership within the United States Geological Survey, Marsh benefited enormously. Soon he secured a prominent position within the federal scientific establishment and gained significant influence over government paleontology programs.
Smooth move there, buddy, because fucking hell.
For the first time, Marsh possessed something even more powerful than personal wealth. He had institutional backing.
Yeah.
That support allowed him to steer resources towards his own projects while limiting opportunities for his rival. To Cope, it felt like being slowly squeezed out of the profession he helped build. Then came an even more aggressive move. Questions soon emerged about who actually owned many of the fossils being collected in the American West. During the 19th century, the rules surrounding fossil ownership were often vague, especially when discoveries were made during government-funded geological surveys.
Okay.
Marsh and his allies argued that specimens collected with government resources, transportation, or personnel should belong to the federal government and its institutions rather than individual scientists. Since Cope had occasionally worked alongside government survey teams and benefited from their support, critics claim that at least some of their fossils in his enormous private collection should have been turned over to public institutions such as the Smithsonian.
So he basically just did that knowing that Cope had worked with the government on some of these projects.
Yes.
To make him lose some of his personal.
Yes.
Gotcha. Wow.
So if successful.
When you first described Marsh,
you thought he was like the good
You thought
guy,
he was the good guy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Cope's good. And like what I don't remember who always says this, but basically You always think when you hear a story, there's a good person and a bad person.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's two bad. No one's good.
There's two bad here.
There's one bad, one worse.
Yep.
Marsh is starting to be a little worse in my book. Let's see if he redeems himself or Cope
Right.
fucks up even more.
So if successful, the claim could have stripped Cope of much of his life's work. Fortunately for Cope, he kept records. As rushed as he is, he actually kept records, receipts, ledgers, travel documents, purchase agreements, years of carefully organized paperwork.
Okay.
When challenged,
surprising to be honest. But.
Yeah. When challenged, Cope produced enough documentation to demonstrate that most of the fossils had been acquired through his own privately funded expeditions.
Okay, but you said most of. So were some done the way that
the
Marsh
government
implied?
backed down.
So they just said, this isn't worth our time, more or less?
But the damage was already done. Cope was financially exhausted, professionally isolated, and convinced that Marsh had orchestrated the entire effort. So for years, he had been fighting a scientific rival. Now he believed he was fighting an enemy, and he was prepared to strike back.
Oh, boy.
By the end of the 1880s, the Bone Wars had consumed nearly every aspect of Edward Cope's life. For years, he had been quietly collecting ammunition against Marsh, compiling every rumor, every complaint from former employees, every alleged mistake, and every accusation he could find.
And Cope would have been 40 in 1880, if I remember right. You said 1840 he was born?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the growing collection became so extensive that Cope reportedly gave it its own name, like the research, his own name, Mariana. Historians aren't sure why he chose that name, because like sometimes they'll name trains and ships female names, that kind of stuff. But by the end of the 1880s, it had become a weapon he was preparing to unleash on Marsh.
Wow.
Yes. In January of 1890, he finally decided to use it.
He unleashed Mariana?
Yes. Rather than continuing the fight through scientific journals, Cope took his accusations directly to the public. Working with journalist William Jose Ballo, he helped publish a sensational expose in the pages of the New York Herald, one of the most widely read newspapers in America.
At that time, yeah.
And the article landed like a bomb. Readers were greeted with headlines describing bitter warfare among America's leading scientists. Cope accused Marsh of taking credit for discoveries made by field workers. He accused him of scientific incompetence. Most damaging, he accused Marsh and his ally John Wesley Powell of mismanaging government funds through the United States Geological Survey.
Wow.
Suddenly, a feud that had simmered within scientific circles for decades was splashed across newspapers for the entire country to see. And, of course, the public loved it.
Well, yeah, it was juicy gossip.
It was.
Basically.
It was the era of sensational journalism.
It's like the Kardashians of the 1890s.
The story had everything people wanted: powerful men, personal grudges, accusations of corruption, and public humiliation.
Wow.
But of course, Marsh responded immediately.
Well, he has to.
Mm-hmm. Using the same newspapers, he published lengthy rebuttals and counterattacks. Then he reached for the weapon that he knew would hurt Cope the most: the gosh, why can I not say it? Elasmosaurus mistake.
The head on the butt?
Elasmosaurus.
Why don't you leave it where you left it? Let's just move on from
Elasmosaurus. There we go.
Oh, my God. That took forever.
Elasmosaurus mistake.
Yeah.
So,
head on the butt.
More than 20 years had passed
from the head on the butt
since
incident?
Cope accidentally placed the head on the wrong end of the skeleton.
Jesus Christ.
But Marsh dragged the story back into the spotlight and presented it as proof that his rival was careless and unreliable.
So, I mean, in Marsh's, I don't want to really defend him because he seems like kind of like a dick, to be honest. In his defense on this, though, you have this Cope attacking Marsh, obviously, in the papers, but then it's like, hey, this is actually something he did. Why are you going to believe him?
Right.
He couldn't even find out where the head went on this dinosaur.
Right.
Are you going to believe him on everything?
Yep.
And that's a wicked blow.
Yeah.
From Marsh back to Cope then, because Cope can't refute that. He fucked it up because he's impatient and rushed that shit out. So, wow.
So soon, the two men were publicly accusing each other of incompetence, dishonesty, and corruption while the entire country watched.
Right.
And of course, the scientific community was absolutely horrified.
Sure.
The consequences quickly extended beyond personal embarrassment because Cope's accusations had involved federal money.
Yep.
Congress began paying attention.
Sure.
Lawmakers launched investigations into the United States Geological Survey and started scrutinizing the agency's spending. Marsh's extensive government-funded publications became an easy target.
Right.
One congressman openly mocked a major paleontological work about prehistoric birds with teeth, questioning why taxpayers should be funding such research in the first place. So the criticism gained traction.
Yeah, makes sense.
The funding was reduced,
Sure.
budgets were cut, and Marsh's influence within the federal scientific establishment began to crumble.
Yep.
In the end, neither man emerged victorious. After decades of warfare, they had largely succeeded in destroying one another.
Jesus.
Cope spent enormous sums funding expeditions, purchasing fossils, and publishing papers.
Right.
Marsh spent equally staggering amounts building collections, financing excavations, and defending his position. Both reputations suffered. Both careers were damaged.
Jeez.
Both men saw much of their wealth consumed by the rivalry and the enormous cost of their scientific work.
Right.
The feud that had started with a secret bribe in New Jersey had become one of the most destructive rivalries in scientific history. Edward Cope died in 1897 at the age of 56.
Wow, I say he's pretty young.
Years of fieldwork and chronic health problems had taken their toll. His fortune was gone. His marriage had collapsed.
He was married at this time too?
He spent his final years surrounded by the fossils, notebooks, and specimens that had consumed so much of his life.
His poor wife.
Yet, even at the very end, he could not resist one final challenge.
Oh, nice.
In his will, Cope requested that his brain be preserved and weighed after his death. Like many educated people of the 19th century, he believed brain size was linked to intelligence.
It's not.
His challenge was directly squared at Marsh.
Yeah.
According to later accounts, Cope hoped his preserved brain would eventually be compared with Marsh's.
Of course.
Reflecting his belief that brain size was linked to intelligence. He wanted one final competition, one last chance.
Jab at Marsh, obviously.
When Marsh died just 2 years later in 1899, he declined and the contest remained unfinished.
Nice.
Ironically, Marshall's final years looked very similar to Cope's.
Oh, really?
Despite inheriting substantial wealth and enjoying decades of professional success, he too died with much of his fortune depleted by his lifelong obsession with paleontology. For all their differences, the two men ultimately arrived at remarkable similar endings.
Isn't it wild?
Both had spent decades pursuing fossils with almost obsessive determination.
Yeah.
Both had sacrificed fortunes in the process. Both watched their reputations suffer as the feud spiraled out of control.
Which is wild.
In many ways, the thing that granted their place in history was not simply the dinosaurs they discovered, but the rivalry that consumed so much of their lives.
It was more the rivalry than it was their accomplishments, because I never fucking heard of them. And
Me either.
I'm not saying that means anything, because I haven't heard of a lot of fucking people, but the point is, the fact is, the reason why we're doing a story on them isn't because of what they did. To a degree. It's what they did to each other.
To each other, yeah.
It's just fucking wild.
So before Cope and Marsh began their rivalry, only a handful of dinosaur species had been identified in North America.
Yeah.
By the time they died, that number had exploded.
Sure.
The Bone Wars produced some of the most famous dinosaurs ever discovered, including Stegosaurus,
Nice.
Allosaurus,
Damn right.
Diplodocus, and Triceratops.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Museums filled with specimens. Scientific collections expanded dramatically. The United States emerged as one of the world's leading centers of paleontological research.
Sure.
The modern study of dinosaurs was built largely on the foundations that they created.
All
At the same time, their rush to publish created countless mistakes that scientists spent decades correcting.
Yep.
Species were duplicated, reconstructions were wrong, confusion spread through the scientific literature. The Bone Wars advanced science and damaged it at the same time.
Isn't that wild?
And that is the Bone Wars.
So, doesn't it frustrate you knowing that most fossils, like you'll go to a museum and it's like, look at this T-Rex, just for example.
Yeah.
And like 90% of it's fake.
Yeah, they're replicas. A lot of them are replicas, yeah.
That's kind of horseshit.
Yeah.
I would rather see an incomplete skeleton than a fake one.
Yeah.
Personally. And it's kind of depressing that that's the case. And I'm going to blame Cope and Marsh for that.
So there is a movie.
About this?
No.
Oh.
Called Dinosaur 13 from 2014. It's an award-winning documentary, and it covers the 10-year legal battle over Sue the T-Rex's skeleton from Chicago.
From the Field Museum.
From the Field Museum.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. I've seen it.
Did you watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I highly recommend it. It's super, super good. Dinosaur 13. I would like to watch that again.
I kind of want to go have a pseudo-sue now.
Ooh.
Fucking banquet. I'm just kidding. I like my banquet. Oh, now I want a pseudo-sue.
Yeah, so happy 100th episode of the History Buffoons.
Congrats to you and myself.
To you. Yeah.
I do take part in this. But I'd say cheers, but I'll still cheers you.
Cheers.
Cheers to 100. Cheers to another 100. And hopefully people enjoy this as much as we do. Welp.
I suppose.
All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore?
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com. We are Bradley and Kate. Music by Corey Akers.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.